Hi everyone. I y'all know how much I love him. If you don't know, I'm so happy to repeat it again. I love Jesus so much with all of my heart, all of my mind, and all of my soul. And many of us still walk around with feeling distant from him, feeling confused, or even feeling like our life is under destruction. And that's what I want to talk about today. Like, how come you love Jesus so much, but you still feel a heaviness, something that weighs you down, and you can't quite pinpoint it? He feels distant in your mind, in your heart, and you can't quite grasp it because you're a good person and you do right by other people, and you still feel this gap. So that used to be me. I no longer feel that. It's pretty miraculous, to be honest with you. And what I have learned is that, first I was asking, well, what is God? And God is love. And what does God tell us to do? He tells us to love. That's it, period. Love. That is all you have to do in this life. And love is not easy, right? I mean, we think when we hear love, it's passion, it's desire, it's romance, it's lust. But that's the definition of the world's definition of love. So you all know the definition of love according to the word. And if you don't, I will gladly remind you. Love is patient. It's kind. It doesn't envy others. It doesn't boast about oneself. And it's not proud. You don't walk around feeling like you're better than your partner or anyone else in this world. You are humble and you are gentle. You are gentle at the core. Now, it doesn't mean that you are a pushover. It doesn't mean that you are nice, because nice people, they don't make it in this life. But kind and firm people, they do. And nice is like being a doormat, no boundaries, okay? That's what I mean about nice. So you are gentle, you endure. That means that you go through the fire and you're so strong, enduring, and you're not weak. You're not weak-minded. You don't give in to the flesh. You endure. And the way you endure is something that I'm about to explain to you all, how it becomes so much easier, or just easy, period. You are forgiving. These are the definitions of love. Remember, you are hopeful, and love never fails. It keeps on going and giving and being alive. So that's what love means. And love is so everything that I just said, it requires sacrifice, doesn't it? Because it's not easy to forgive. It's not easy to have patience. So you endure, and it's sacrificial. And it's love is also active. It's an action word. It's not just something that you feel and that you think, like we were taught. We fall in love and we think, oh, this is love. Like, no, that's the biggest lie, especially for little girls watching Disney movies. But I'm not going to get into all of that. So, and also love is, it's a God-centered choice. Like, you always have him at the core of your existence. You think about God for everything, and it becomes a habit. Okay, you have to work at it every single day. So I first had to define what is love. And remember, this is how I was able to get to a place of peace that surpasses human understanding. What I'm trying to say here is that there are different levels of peace. And I did not know that that was even possible. But this is the God that we serve. He's always and constantly revealing new things for us. And it doesn't get old, it doesn't get stagnant. In fact, if you are feeling stagnant with your relationship with God, then there's something wrong. That's not normal. And okay, we can have periods of feeling God distant and all of these things, but as a whole, you shouldn't go too long feeling that way. So that's just an invitation for you to take action. Remember, love is an action, and for you to make the decision to draw closer to God. So again, if you're struggling with confusion and doubt, oh my goodness, doubt is, I have said this before, probably the number one wall between you and God. It's just gonna happen. And the further you walk with God, that wall of doubt on who He is and who you are in Him and what you are to Him, it disintegrates. Like that wall no longer exists. Now, it doesn't mean that you're never going to feel doubt. Yeah, you will doubt other things, but you will never doubt Him and who He is and the love that He has for you. That doubt goes away. So if you want to get to the next level with God, there was a scripture that I read this morning, so I will read some scripture, and it is coming from the book of the scriptures. So John 10, it says, "And I give them," which is us, "I give them everlasting life, and they shall be by no means ever perish, and no one shall snatch them out of my hand." God has us right here, en su mano, protegiéndonos, amándonos. He's loving us, and He's not going to let anything get in the way to snatch us away from Him. That's His devotion to us. And these are just words. And many times for many Christians or new believers or whatever you want, I don't like labels, I don't like titles or anything like that. Just people that are following love, that want to know what love is. And these words that I just read, they go in one ear and out the other for the most part. They don't mean anything. A lot of times we may not even feel what these words actually mean. And sometimes, well, really, it's probably 99.99% of the time, I mean, I have to say 100% on this one, it is us that's in the way, because God is perfect. God is the definition of love. So it's available to us, but sometimes we don't know how to tap into that love that He has. And often it's because of the way we were raised or wired, or our beliefs, however it is that we've been walking our life, and it never stops. Our growth never stops. And when I see people stuck in their ways, I feel bad for them, because they are not allowing themselves to grow. And there is so much more to learn and to grow. I don't care how old you are. You could be 95 years old. The Lord will still reveal something new to you that you need to draw closer to Him. So another verse also that that we know that we are protected by God, but these words may not really resonate, or you may not feel them deeply. And I'm going to explain in a bit how we can remove all of these, this numbness how we can open the heart, our heart, to receive these words, to make these words come alive in us. In Psalms 91, he says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High, who abides under the shadow of the Almighty." You receive love, you receive his protection. And so, like, what does it mean that he who abides under the shadow of the Almighty? How do you get under his shadow and not be exposed away from the shadow, where you are in the open in the open field, where you are susceptible to the open fire, where you are vulnerable to getting hurt? So how is it that you stay under the Almighty's shadow? Because it's available to us. He says that is like that's his invitation. Come under my wing. I will guard you under my wings. Stay in my shadow. Oh, I have a guest. I'm gonna have to come back and finish this. Okay, I'm back. Where was I? Okay, so how is it that we stay under God's shadow? How do we get there? And the protection is available to us, and his blessing, we are able to receive his blessing. And it all boils down to, how is it that we are loving God? Because the question is never, does God love us? Of course he loves us. He sent his son for us. Like, what more do you want, people? Is how I feel. The Lord sometimes, I just have his voice in my mind, like, what else can I prove to you? That I adore you, and I do so much for you. And when we walk away from love, which I'm really wanting to use another word, but when I use this other word, people tend, some, not all, to tune out. And so I refrain from using the word, but I'm going to use it because it's parallel to the word love and respect, which is obedience. When you obey, when you show your respect and your love for him, then your whole life is going to change. And when you give your life to Jesus, from here on out, our faith and our obedience will be tested. We are sanctified from the moment you give your life to him until the day that you die. And it's, when I first read it, honestly, I thought, oh, that sounds so dreadful. However, it's been for my absolute good and blessings. My life is so wealthy right now and rich in my spirit. I lack nothing. And it's really almost pointless to describe all of this in words, because it's like one of those things that you won't know what I'm talking about until you actually walk through it yourself. No aprendes de cosas ajenas. That's a saying in Spanish. You don't really learn from other people's experiences as much as you do with your own. So how do we get to be in the shadow of the Almighty, where you have blessings, protection, and fellowship with him constantly, 24/7, where you no longer feel distant, confused, or distracted, and there's no more destruction in your life? So I did some research here, and I found so many scriptures in the New Testament and in the Old Testament that I'm not, let me see, I think we have time. So that is, I can read some of these scriptures that it clearly tells us how to live under his shadow. So I will read it, some of them. And At the end of the video, I want to know what the common theme of all of these scriptures are. What did you pick up on? Okay, I'm not going to say it for you. I just want to see if you can pick up on a pattern here. I will start in the New Testament. Matthew 5:17 through 19 says, "Do not think that I came to abolish the law or the prophets. Not the smallest letter will by any means disappear until everything is accomplished." John 14:15 says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." John 15:10 says, "If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I, Jesus, have kept my Father's commands." So basically, John 15:10 is saying, if you do what I did, which is keep the commandments, then you're gonna remain in my love. Which, what does love mean? It means God. You're going to remain with God in his shadow, where you are protected. And Matthew 22:37 through 40 says, "Love the Lord your God. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments." 1 John 2:3-4. "We know that we have come to know him if we keep his commands. Whoever says, 'I know him,' but does not do what he commands is a liar." So if you've ever been in this type of relationship where the person says, "I love you and I respect you," but their actions speak volumes otherwise, then you're a liar. Not you, but that person is a liar. It's as simple and as easy as that. And I think that you already know what the common theme is here. So I'm not going to read all of the ones that I found in the New Testament. So I will go into the Old Testament. "Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days." That's in Deuteronomy 6:1-2. Deuteronomy 6:5-6. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. These commandments I give you today are to be on your hearts. That doesn't mean that you just think about them, but they're on your heart, that you feel convicted if you don't follow what the Lord asks of us. You can think and you can say all day long, "I love God," but when your heart is not in it, then you're not really in line with God. And what does Jesus want from us? He wants our heart, right? He wants our contrite heart. He wants us to care about love. He wants us to not just say, "I love God and I think about God." No, he wants it to be alive in here. It's a very different type of way of proving your love, right? Remember, love is an action. So these are just a few of the scriptures that I will read to you today about this common theme. So to me, the veil has been lifted off of my eyes, and I no longer conform to the ways of the world. Am I challenged? Of course I'm challenged. It's not normal to not be challenged. And I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and I said, you know how you are making it to the next level in your life? You know how the breakthroughs come in is that you are actually challenged. It's like video games. I used to love playing video games, and my friend does too. I said, how do you make it to the next level? You don't ease your way into the next level. You are challenged, and usually we are challenged by something of our past, something in our past, such as a past experience, a past relationship, a past conversation, a past mistake. All of these things are a hindrance to our future and to our breakthrough. So God will never lead you astray. He will always lead you into the promised land. He always wants the best for you. And we have a tendency to rebel. And it could be done in such a subtle way, our rebellion. And it's just in our nature. It's in our nature to think, I was going to say think for ourselves, but we are supposed to think for ourselves. But we're in this body, we're in this flesh, and this body and this flesh, it doesn't care about us because it's not going with us. It's going to die here. So it wants to take over. But when you truly love God and you follow all of what he says, and if you don't know all of what he says, you can find that in Exodus 20:1 through 17. And it's very black and white. It's, well, you can't be like, and I'm only saying this because this is my past experience and why distortion and confusion was very much alive in my life, even though I love Jesus. Or even before I even came to truly love Jesus and know who he was, it's whether you're following him or not, these laws apply to humans. And so when I was not on the straight and narrow path, I was trying to figure out life. I was in search of him without realizing that I was in search of him. I realized that I did have other gods. And that's why I had confusion and distortion in my life. And I know this now because I'm able to look back and connect all of the dots and see where I was lost. And the most beautiful thing about God is that he has so much grace for us that he knows that we were lost. And because he knows that we were unconscious, we have extra grace, okay? That's just how awesome and loving and compassionate he is, and he's so forgiving. If you read the Bible and you read the stories, you will see that there's a common theme. It's like a loop over and over and over again. People continuously disobey God. They don't follow the law. And it's not to be legalistic, throw that out the window. No, it's not that at all. And really, like everything that I'm saying here, it's such an individual walk and decision and personal conviction that I wouldn't be judgmental towards other people that don't want to follow the law, that don't want to follow the commandments. They think that it's abolished. Like, okay, if that's what you think, that's what you think is right, then go ahead. Because I know eventually they're going to come back to the light, because the Lord always chases after us, always. That's all he's done. If you read all of the stories in the Bible, the prophets, it's the Lord's always forgiving us. He's always running after us. He's always giving us chance after chance after chance. So that's the journey that sometimes I see people on, and the Lord tells me that it's not my job to judge. It's just my job to love, period, end of story, and to spread the good news. And so this is what this video is all about, is to let you all know the revelations that have been placed in my life that has completely changed my life, which I never even knew was even possible, because I was already so in love with Jesus and my life was already so good and I lacked nothing and my confidence skyrocketed. I literally feel like I could do anything that I set my mind to. And, and that's all I'm going to say, because it's not about me. It's not about, my life. It's all of these things that I just said. They are blessings and gifts from him because of my decision to stay under God's shadow. And staying under God's shadow is showing with your actions that you love him. that you respect what he says and you don't cherry pick what you want to do, but you do everything that he says to do. It's that easy. It's that simple, but it's not easy when you are being pulled in so many different directions in this world. Like, this world is on a different calendar. It's on a different time. It has different morals. It has different standards. This is not the kingdom of God. This is not what heaven is like. And when you can and choose to follow the culture, the kingdom culture, that just means the culture of love. When you choose to follow that and live by those laws and those rules and not what the world tells you, then your life will start to completely change for the better. Like I said, I never imagined that my life would change so drastically, and not just mine, but I can see it working through my own loved ones. It's incredible and it's miraculous. And at the same time, it makes sense because we do serve an incredible and miraculous God. And I hope that what I said resonates with you. And not that long ago, I felt it in my bones. I felt it in my soul, in my spirit, that I was to go deeper with God. I felt the calling. I felt that he was going to take me somewhere. And at the time, I felt that it was going to be a lot of fear, like if it was going to be some big huge struggle, like all the stuff that I have been dealing with that has been so heavy. And I'm like, God, like, more heartbreak, more heartache. I'm not looking forward to it, but I love you and I trust you. So it doesn't always, going deeper with the Lord does not always correlate pain in a bad way. And not, you know what? I just want to say it does not equal pain, period. Like, sometimes we feel God so incredibly close when we're heartbroken and everything just is no fun in life. You feel his presence. We seek him. We are so thirsty and desperate for him, right? I know you can relate to this because we all have periods of great suffering in our life. Even people that didn't even know God, they start to look for God. Hey, God, I hear about you. Can you come help me out? Because I'm about to die here. So people seek him out and they grow deeper in their relationship with him in times of trouble. But also, I am so thankful to our Heavenly Father that I was able to go deeper on the other side of the coin of suffering, of no pain, no suffering, but just pure love on my part, which is obedience. And I have been blessed with such great, even deeper love that I didn't even know existed. And you will know what it's like once you walk through. So what I did was I did a self-assessment, as I have explained before. I went down Exodus 21 through 17, and then I read the first command, the first rule that he has for us. And I said, how am I with this? Am I good? Hey, Lord, can you please reveal where I may be off, where I may have gotten in my own way and I edged you out. I let ego take over. Please reveal to me everything. You have to kill pride. You have to die to self and let him speak to you. And then listen to what he says. And don't pretend like you didn't hear, because that's even worse. Don't gaslight yourself. I do invite you to follow my YouTube channel if you have not followed it yet, and share this video. I want to know your thoughts on this topic. What is your walk? What is it that you hear out in the world? people saying about following his commandments, do you also hear that it's abolished, that we don't need to be honest, and we don't need to not cheat, we don't need to follow God only, and we can have other gods? Like, is that the type of things that you hear? Even by omission, like just choosing, I'm just gonna follow some of these laws because they're easy. I just want to know your thoughts. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Adios.